Thank you for joining. I know we're a bit late, but we are coming live from two different time zones. So this happens because we switched to day saving time, whatever. And Makayla is currently in Asia, enjoying herself in Thailand. So before we start, hi Makayla, thank you so much for I'm gonna go start live on Instagram. I think it's gonna go perfect.
Yes.
Thank you for joining me from your vacation. How are you? How is Thailand?
Thank you, Jasmina. I'm so excited to do this with you. Thailand's amazing. It's fantastic. It's just I've got a killer tan going on, and we're just enjoying every day like we can. I'm actually leaving at the end of the week, sadly, but I've almost had a month here, so I'm looking forward to getting back home to my dogs.
I know, but I've been following your traveling experience, and I think it's beautiful. Oh, hashtag jealous. Anyway, for everybody who doesn't know Makayla, please follow her on Instagram and here on YouTube. She's amazing. We did a couple of collaborations before, and one was on Mercury as well, in general. But today we're going to talk about Mercury retrograde that is coming up in Aries on April 1st, and it's not an April Fool's joke. It's really happening on April 1st, and it's going to be there until April 25th. What is important here is that we are entering the Mercury retrograde shadow on March 18th, which is tomorrow. And this means that Mercury will go retrograde from the 27 degrees of Aries back to the 15, which will be tomorrow. So everything between 27 and 15 in your chart will be activated with this Mercury retrograde. Okay, this is like technicalities. So Makayla, I know you have some Aries placements yourself. So how will this affect you? So tell me more from the Aries perspective. What is your Aries placement?
Yeah.
How you will see that? Yeah.
So, like, you were the perfect person that I wanted to have this discussion with because you are double Mercury, right? You've got the Gemini and Virgo dynamics going on in your chart. And I have Mercury and Aries natally in my chart at 25 degrees Aries. And I'm also an Aries sun. So, this Mercury retrograde is going to affect me pretty intensely because it's just going to be going over all of my Aries placements multiple times. So from that, I was like, okay, we could have a really good discussion here because for the both of us to really understand what this transit's going to mean for everybody. And I'm also looking at this transit as being so important because we've just shifted all the personal planets, just made all those major conjunctions to Pluto, right? That happened at the beginning of March. And so we're seeing a lot of new initiation and new energy emerging. And that's what Aries entails. It's a new beginning, a new start, an evolutionary intention forming. And so for me, the beginning of this whole entire transit is speaking to the Mercury retrograde in Aries is speaking to basically an overall mission for each individual to understand, like, what are your separating desires right now as you're evolving in time and space? Like, what is your next evolutionary intention? What is the next goal that you have? What is the next desire, right? Where are you heading towards? How are you changing your life? The first planet to kind of kick this all up for us with a retrograde is Mercury, which to me is the planet where we digest information. We take information in. We take it from the left side of our brain, we process it, and we bring it to the right side of our brain, the creativity, where we can manifest, where we can create. And so we want to break this down, the whole Mercury retrograde. Like, I have a couple of dates. I have a couple of major conjunctions that Mercury is going to do while it's retrograde. But, the overall theme for me for this Mercury retrograde is for us as humans to understand that there is a mission. Mercury is under a mission right now to bring up dynamics for individuals, that you have desires that are going to be initiated, and this is going to be a time to evaluate them, to take a deeper and closer look at them.
I love that. Perfect. That's amazing. Especially, I just want to mention that last year we had Mercury retrogrades in Earth elements.
Yes.
So it was more about a practical, revising our material world, our practicality, and how we manifest things practical. As you said, mentioned, now we are switching to fire Mercury retrograde this year. So this is definitely new start, new vision, new passion. Where we, after we cleared our decks last year with these practical things, so where are we going? Where are we heading now? And I love it. We have an opportunity to revise our visions, to go and to see. And it's beautiful because we have the nodes also in Aries and Libra, so this is even more emphasized now. I think you can justify to that as well. The nodes being with in Aries and Libra. How will this Mercury retrograde contribute to that?
Yeah, I mean, like the North Node is in Aries, so it's
Yeah.
pulling us towards going into that new direction. And so Mercury is going to be transiting over that a few times. And one thing I wanted to bring up that I saw is that Mercury is also going to conjunct Eris a few times,
Oh yeah.
and the North Node and Chiron.
Chiron,
So,
yes.
yeah, right. So, if we want to break down what Mercury and Aries does, it's definitely impulsive expression. I'm
Mhm.
definitely known for just being more intuitive with my speech, kind of speaking off. I don't plan anything. Like nothing is ever planned. And when I get in front of YouTube, like maybe I have a few notes, but it's spontaneous. It
Yeah.
just comes from my inner intuition. And we can speak fast, we can speak really direct, and
Mhm.
also it can be pretty harsh at times. Okay, so the delivery over the next few weeks with people, I think, might trigger other people.
Mm.
um, Words might be more harsh, they might be more direct, but the thing is it's usually honest.
Oh
Because
yeah.
Aries is time to think, right? It's so impulsive. That's why it's so raw, and it embodies truth and honesty in such a raw, impulsive approach. And so if you're having ideas coming out, if you're having thoughts
Mm.
spewing out of you, if you're needing to have discussions or bring up things with
Mhm.
people, right? Communicate. I would suggest that people obviously always be mindful of like your impulsive behavior and what you're saying, but also take some time, because the opposite is the Libra, to
Yeah.
reflect the fact that
Mm.
this might be coming from a place that really needs to be seen and heard right now. And there might be a reason for that coming up, like that thought, that idea, that discussion, that communication. What do
Yeah,
you
I
think?
love that. I love that. Yeah. And this is, as you mentioned, this is an energy of a toddler. I have a 3-year-old at home, and this is exactly what the net energy is. What's on your mind, it gets out. And then, this is what you
Yeah.
want. You don't understand the world yet, right? This is like the energy of not understanding what are the limitations, what is happening. You just want to explore and learn and, and see what is there out in the world, right? And,
Yeah.
uh, uh, I was gonna add something. So with the retrograde, it's as you said, that we're gonna have a lot of ideas. We're gonna want to express everything what's on our mind. This is actually a great time because as Aries always wants to do things without thinking. So I have an idea and I act on it right away. So this retrograde might actually give us an opportunity to sort some ideas and just act on the ones that are actually gonna work. Right. So time to see. You don't have to act on each one idea that you have, because it's
Right.
sometimes hard, right? Because you feel like everything is exciting, right? Everything is an adventure, and then sometimes you need to choose. So maybe this is a good opportunity to choose and be, and especially with the North Node, where am I going? Like, what is the path? Who am I in this story of my life, right? So I like that you mentioned. Yeah,
I
that's
actually
amazing.
I like
Mhm.
that advice, because one thing that I found is like the impulsive need to just try something out. A lot of people will look at the Aries placements as being inconsistent. It is just a person that is courageous and impulsive and uninhibited to try things that excite them. And it's
Mhm.
not it's if you don't try something out, you don't know if it's for you or if it's not for you, right? And so a lot of people think like, oh, Aries doesn't finish anything, or Aries isn't inconsistent. Like, no,
Mhm.
Aries just literally needs the room to explore, constantly go butt its head against the wall and realize which wall is going to push forward and which one isn't. And so if people are like plummeted with ideas
Mhm.
right now, like I would personally, for me, I would be like, yes, go try new things, go see what's for you. The
Mhm.
retrograde time is going to tell you if it's for you or
Mhm.
not. And then when Mercury stations direct, you're going
Mhm.
to have a more clear, sharper opinion or
Mhm.
vision, if you will,
Mhm.
of like what direction you really want to go in.
Okay, I get that. To be honest, I don't feel that Aries needs to finish everything. By the way, like everybody has a role in every sign has a role. Every part of our chart has some kind of a role. So the Aries part of our chart needs to just initiate. There's Taurus, there's Capricorn, there's other people who can do the work, right? So I'm seriously like, why do we have to put the pressure on Aries that they need to finish something? I don't feel that. They are here to show us the new ways, the explored things, and then we can just work on them, right? It's not about doing everything by yourself. That's also a misconception, I think, that we feel that we need to do everything. No, we have to do us, right? So Aries' job is to show the way and start things, and they don't need to finish, in my opinion, because I think it's too much pressure on each sign. You have to do this. No, there's a
Yeah.
in that sense, right? If your job is to show the tricks to somebody else who will then do the work, who enjoys doing that, like Taurus Capricorn, they like to dig, and so that's your job, and then it finishes and you go on another new project. So just a thought about Aries energy for me.
I know. I really appreciate that, and I align with that a lot because another word, a keyword that we can associate with Aries is the pioneer, right?
Yes.
Like one person can climb Mount Everest and they could be the first one to do it, and that's an Aries quality. But that doesn't mean that they're going to continue to lead other people up that mountain 25 times after that. They're like, no, I did it. I was the first one that did it. Now all of you can finish. Like, be on your way. I'm done. I'm going on a different journey now. That's what
Yeah,
it's like.
I know, but isn't that amazing? I mean, it takes courage, right? Aries is also courageous. It takes courage and boldness, and sometimes it's because they don't think about the consequences. Uh, but it doesn't matter. They still, put the tracks that we can follow after. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that in Aries. Because it's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to go into the bushes and find, how to get on the other side. It can be scary. It's the unknown,
Right.
right? So
Right.
so I think that's beautiful, and they don't need to do it all over again, the same route every time. It's boring for Aries anyway. They need to have another route to
It's
explore.
true.
Yeah.
It's
So
true.
that this is that Mercury retrograde in Aries will bring that to us, right? To explore many options, as you said. I love that. Oh, Misbehaving is here. Hi, sorry we are late. She's here on every live I do. Thank you so much for being here. Listening while I paint, hand pink waving, trying to use the Kazimi. Oh yeah, Neptune Sun Kazimi today. So she's an artist. I told her to do some artwork today. Thank you. See,
I love
oh,
that. Yes, thank you for
beautiful.
joining. Hello.
And
Speaking of the Kazimi,
yeah,
Mercury will be Kazimi with retrograde
yes,
on
with the sun.
uh, yes. Do you have the date? I think it is
I had the date, but then I lost it. Okay, April. Okay, here it is. On the 11th. On the 11th
on
of
the
April.
11th.
Before
Yes,
you
there it
start
is.
on that, I just want to say hi to everybody on Instagram. And Andre is here. He says, as a Libra, Mercury, and someone who lacks fire in their chart, this conversation is very helpful and insightful. Oh, thank you, Andre. Oh, beautiful.
Yes, Mercury and Libra. Okay, so I was thinking about the Libra placements with this Mercury retrograde
Mm-hmm.
in Aries, and I don't know if you agree with this or not align with this, but I usually I tell people that under a Mercury retrograde, you will 100% hear from people from your past,
Oh, yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Something will
It's
come up. Whatever your area of life is, something will come up in that area. Partners, if it's a seventh house, or business
Yep.
associate, or ex co-workers, or neighbors, old
Yep.
friends, whatever, right? That's
Yep.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like for the Libras, or the people with the strong Libra placements, because they're so relationship oriented, and right now they're getting the South Node transiting through them too. So there's just all this like karmic baggage that is just being in like an upheaval for them right now. I feel like this Mercury retrograde in Aries is going to be extra
Mm-hmm.
intense, and not in a bad way or anything, but it's more so like an opportunity to just like, let's heal the karmic connections, like let's look at the relationships that we've had on an even deeper level, and like let's initiate a new beginning, let's burn them up, let's alchemicalize them in a sense, like we are purifying, right? The fire can purify something, essentially.
Yeah,
So all
yeah,
my Libra friends there.
yeah. For me, it's interesting. I have the opposite. I have a South Node in Aries and North Node in Libra. So
Oh,
I come from the Aries. I understand Aries very well. Trust me, the more I know astrology and practice and everything, I understand how South Node is strong within us. It is so strong. Like taking the best of it, not everything, right? So
see it. You can see it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that's interesting. Okay, so Sun Kazimi with Mercury retrograde on the 11th. What are your thoughts on that placement?
So that's going to be conjunct also Eris and Chiron again on that day. It's
Yes.
got like a stellium going on.
Yeah.
And Mercury is going to be in the heart of the sun, so it's going to be
Mm.
infused with that solar power, and it is an exalted sun, right? Aries is exalted. The sun is exalted in Aries. My apologies.
Yes.
So, to me, this is
Mm-hmm.
an opportunity to, I just want to say, be selfish with the direction you want to go in right now, okay? And understand that there is a lot of things going on with healing relationships because we have the eclipses in Libra and Aries. There's a lot of dynamics going on with the South Node in Libra where we need to learn what our relationships look like to each other. And we need to understand that we have to figure out balance, what is fair, what is just, what feels equal. And Mercury Kazimi conjunct Chiron and Eris is to me like you might not even mean to trigger somebody. You might not even mean to hurt somebody's feelings with this raw self expression that might come through, or this new openness, this new desire, this new direction you want to go in, or something you want to say. But it's also an opportunity to really heal your soul and just to kind of reclaim your own solar power. And I have a video coming out soon on the solar plexus because I associate the solar plexus with Aries archetype. And so this area of our body will be heightened under Aries season, right? So you want to listen to your gut. You want to pay attention to what your gut is telling you. If it's feeling resistance, if you're feeling bloated, if you're having a stomach, those relationships, those people, that situation might not be resonating with you anymore. And it might require you to deliver some harsh news, to be more direct, right? But the shadow quality for me with Mercury and Aries is like you need to develop the maturity to have freedom in your sense of speech, right? And you need to develop the courage to have freedom in expressing yourself without thinking, because you're not supposed to with Mercury and Aries. You're supposed
Right.
to let go of your fear of being shy and let intuition literally funnel through you. So you can feel insecure about how you're expressing yourself, but I think this Kazemi with Eris and Chiron is a healing opportunity for people to not be hindered by their self-expression anymore. It provides an opportunity for them to feel more courageous, to develop that maturity, to have like authentic, not unapologetic self-expression, essentially.
Now that you mentioned this, I just before I ask you this, Misbehaving is saying she's going through her Chiron return. So will the Kazimi be another trigger point for that? Absolutely. So everything that Makayla just said, take that in. This is the great advice she gave you. Exactly what opportunity for healing, and very actually very. It can be, you can be really good after this whole thing. I think it's going to help you even, right?
Yeah, well, Chiron and Aries is about taking space and showing up, right? Being able to take space in a room or take space in any type of situation and be like, here I am, I matter, right? Without, because the Libra is a polarity point, so we can feel the other people projecting or criticizing us or judging us, right? And it's an opportunity to just like release that, let that go, not care what somebody else thinks. And it's not in like a negative way. It's just like a part of the solar plexus, the Aries, right? All of this related is knowing that you're human, you're going to make
Mhm.
mistakes, and the only judgments that we make is on ourselves, right? So give yourself the generosity to understand that you're just a human and you make decisions with the information that you have at the time, right? You constantly show up and take space and be courageous with your going forward, new directions. You're going to evolve no matter what.
I like that. I like that. Don't be harsh on yourself. I like that. I want to ask you something. It's related, but it's not directly related. Do you have a distinction between um, intuition and instinct? Do you make the distinction between those two, or is it the same for you? I didn't want to put you on the spot, but I'm thinking
No,
the Aries is more about instinct. You know, that gut survival instinct that you feel that you have, like a survival instinct. Intuition is more that you can train. You know, like I feel that intuition you can develop through training, but instinct is something that doesn't never lie. It's the one, the primal thing we were born with. Maybe this is
exactly. I
myself
think that,
knowing Aries talking, but that's how I feel. You know, so I'm just wondering what your
no,
thoughts are on that.
I think that's an amazing question. And I was taking a moment to think about this with the chakra system, because the intuition will be for me the third eye, and the instincts will be coming from the lower three chakras, mostly the solar and the sacral plexus kind of combined. Instinct is the survivalness, and we get conditioned on that based on our upbringing. Um, and based on our beliefs, if we are feeling safe or secure, right? And so our instinct is going to react depending on, in my opinion, like what situation that we're in. Whereas we're going to try to use our intuition to guide us to make decisions. But I think it's important to cultivate a good instinctual response, which is going to return to the fact that you need to be able to provide yourself your own safety and security and sanity, essentially, so that when things arise, when you do have to react instinctual, it's not based on fear
Oh yeah,
or like a, you know what I mean, like a
good one.
like a needs of survival that is relentless, or something like that. It almost reverts to like people with trauma, right? With many of us, all of us have Uranus, all of us have Aquarius. In my opinion, we all have trauma signatures in our chart and certain scenarios, and it's about rewiring our responses, our instinctual responses to things that could trigger us, and that would react those instinctual responses for protection, survival, and primal needs, and so forth. So I think that fire signs have both,
Ah, yeah,
because we
yeah,
know fire signs are intuition,
yes.
inspiration, insight, just
It's a
just
spark.
thought,
The
right? The
spark.
spark.
Yeah.
But they're also very primal,
Mm,
aggressive,
mm,
fighter, warrior archetypes, pioneers,
mm.
adventurers, leaders, the Leo, Aquarius, Aries, all have those qualities. So I think that they go hand in hand, they work together, but like again, always the chakras are always working together hand in hand, like if one's
Yeah,
off
yeah, yeah.
balance at another. So I
I
think,
mean,
but anyway, good question.
yeah, that's a good point because to be a leader, to go forward, you need that spark that will keep you moving, right? Otherwise, we won't move, you won't do anything. So you need that, right? I love that. That's good perception of that. Going back on Sun and Mercury, Kazimi, just 3 days before we have an eclipse, and Mercury is going to be retrograde there. So I know. So this is all connected, right? And then on the eclipse, Chiron is right there on the Sun, and Mercury is retrograde just near. Just so just a couple of thoughts about the eclipse.
Well, do you have any first?
Well, I think this eclipse will for sure be a life changers for many.
Yeah.
It will be a lot of new beginnings, a lot of endings, more than usual. I just feel that, when we have eclipse in other signs, yes, there are endings and beginnings, but I think this specifically one, we have a bunch of planets in Aries. There is like there in Pisces, everything is just right there all together. The energies are really potent. Like everybody, they're together. They're not dispersed everywhere. They're very condensed. So the feeling of starting something new and wanting to be yourself, everything that we just said about Aries is going to be very highlighted. It's going to be
Yeah.
every one of us is wanted. I think we, in some way or another, we want to break free. from whatever is
Yeah.
pulling us down and going forward. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
It's going to be really, really important.
Yeah, I deeply align and resonate with that and agree with you. And you know, I I've been trying to look at these eclipses because I know they're intense for many people. I know people are going through major relationship, love changes, financial changes, and it's tough. It's not easy things to go through. And it can be hard when you're in like the mud of it to look at what is the better picture on the other side and like what could be actually beyond that, you know? And I would just encourage people, especially with that eclipse that we're talking about, the Aries eclipse coming up, is that it will probably feel uncomfortable, whatever arises, but just be open to the possibilities, because the thing with Aries is you don't know. You don't know what's going to transpire. You don't know what's going to happen. That is the point of Aries. Like that's why the first house is Aries. You're a newborn baby, you're born, you're reincarnated, you're a fresh baby soul. First house, Aries dynamic, Mars. You're 1 day old baby. You have no idea what the hell is going on in your life, right? Like that
Yes.
is the birth. It is you everyone is going through a rebirth. We're not going to have these eclipses again for another, with the North Node for
Yeah.
19 years.
Yes.
You know, like this is a major cycle happening in the middle of all of these other major cycles, with Saturn not going back to Pisces for 30 years, Pluto and Aquarius just beginning 20-year cycle. So like if you've got fear, if you've got the unknown, if you're like, I have no idea where the hell I'm going, but I just need to know I need to step in
Yes.
this direction, that's completely normal.
Yes, yes, and then Uranus and Jupiter conjunction on the April 20th. It's again something new, right? It's going to be something unexpected. So this whole month is about embracing the change, the unknown,
Yeah.
the new. Don't resist it. The more you resist it, the harder it will be. That would be my only advice this month, because it just there is the people who are change bringers, then the people who follow the change, and the people who resist. Try
Yeah.
to be the one who make the change, don't even follow. Try to be on that's what Aries is about. That's what Uranus Jupiter conjunction is about. That's about this eclipse. This April is going to be a month. I don't know, I can't I'm so excited. I mean, it's going to be I'm excited because I'm a little bit crazy, but it's going to be
Well,
everything.
Jasmina, for you just explained the three different modalities. You just explained cardinal, mutable, and fixed signs, and you've
Yes.
got a lot of mutable energy in your chart. I've got a ton of cardinal and a ton of fixed, so there's lots of me that's like, I don't want to move, I don't want to change, but then there's a lot of me that's like, you got to do it, right? So you're in the middle with that all the mutable that you've got, which
Yeah.
is exactly the right advice. Is like, be flexible, stay open,
Yeah.
you know, try to just give yourself some room to ebb and flow, because you're going to need it. You're going to need it under these transits.
I mean, on the other side, if you don't go with it, it's gonna hit you hard, and you might not survive. Like literally, not mean physically, but your whatever you're doing, right? It just might die, and you won't prepare for it. So I don't want to scare anybody. I
Right.
just want to encourage everybody to prepare if they have hard time with change. So like my dad, for example. So I need to prepare him for everything months and weeks ahead. So I understand, but fixed energy is it's not, anyway. On another note, after this eclipse and Sun Mercury Kazimi, we have Venus, right? So Venus, which is your beautiful rising sign ruler. It shows so much. When I see you, I see Venus. I mean, I know you're Aries and everything, but I just see Venus when I see you. So they're going to
Thank
be
you.
together on the 19th. Yes, they're going to meet up on the
Yes.
19th. Okay. So do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, of course. So here is when, you know, Venus, Marilyn Monroe had Venus in Aries, first off. So, she she wore Venus very well, where she was just the spotlight, the center of attention that Venus and Aries can kind of do, because it's just like, I'm number one, right? Aries kind of has that quality, like, look at me, I'm number one all the time. But here you can really finesse those ideas, or you can really bring a new level of inspiration in, a new plan. You can soften up your words, you can have healing communication. I think this would be a good day if you need to mend anything that happened during the Mercury retrograde, any harsh words, anything with relationships. You can use Venus here to soften up your communication and mend relationships, mend partnerships, and so forth. I also think this would be a good time to talk about, partnership dynamics, so like where you want to move forward, like if there's a contract under investigation, or if you're considering purchasing something, right? Anything to do with beautifying the home or investing your money and finances,
Oh,
since
yeah.
Venus that, this is a good time to speculate over that. And if it brings beauty to your life, whatever that is,
Mm-hmm.
if it brings beauty to your life, that to me would be a good way to utilize this Venus Mercury conjunction happening.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. It's gonna be. Oh yeah, the day after is at this big conjunction with Uranus and Jupiter as well. So it's gonna be very good. I wanted to add something to it. What do you feel about because Mercury Mercury in Aries is, it's about how our mind works, but how we also express ourselves and communicate. And with Venus there, if it's not used well, do you feel there is a potential challenge of a bully, somebody bullying somebody? You know, is this something that we should just maybe tell people? Is it something that you feel that it can be some kind of suppressed anger or bullying that can come up within the relationships? Just a thought.
Yeah, because anything, in my opinion, anything with Venus, like the archetype itself of Libra, can be tilted off balance. And so this could be a time where maybe you find out something from a partner you didn't want to hear. Maybe they're clear and honest and direct. And I guess this doesn't lean into bullying, but this would lead into something like, I don't want to be with you anymore. Like a breakup energy, because of the conjunction would represent an infusion, but it would represent also a new direction. So, and
Yeah.
because Chiron is there and Eris is there as well, which can be trigger points and points for us that are activated, that can be a time where people are just going in a new direction with partnership and relationship, or their values, because also Venus represents over our values. And so this development, this conjunction could be for some people feeling like now that they're processing all of the information they've been taking in over the last 6 months, right? And especially over the last 4 weeks, because the eclipse are really activating relationships, that Venus conjunction to Mercury is now infusing in them, in their mental capacity, right? In their brain, that, my values have really shifted and they're going in a new direction. And like, this person doesn't really support them anymore. Right. And so,
makes sense. Yeah, I'm thinking, whoever survives April, we'll talk about it because I think April will change our lives. But don't forget, guys, Mercury is just the messenger. So don't kill the messenger. Don't kill the message.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
he's just putting awareness in some sense, of what you need to consider when you're going forward, right? So don't blame Mercury. When people blame Mercury retrograde, I'm like, oh my god, it's just, yeah, I don't like that, because it's really positive. I feel that it's all the retrogrades that come into our lives are such a great opportunity to stop. We talked about it in the last Mercury video. I'm gonna put a link below in the comments, because it was such a good talk as well. We talked about how retrogrades give us opportunity to rethink, especially Mercury, right? Rethink how we communicate, how we, even with ourselves. Remember, we talked about how we, and this is especially in Aries even more emphasized, how we talk to ourselves. Are we harsh on ourselves, right? So think about that, not just the relating the others, how you do with your, when you look at yourself in the mirror, how you talk to yourself.
Yes.
Do you nurture yourself?
And I'm glad you're reminding people of the retrograde aspect of it. It's just rethinking and revising, and it's a time to reflect and go back, because I feel like under Mercury retrograde in Aries, like it's gonna be so impulsive that we're gonna feel this need to like want to just start all these new projects and stuff, and it just gets sticky note happy, right? Just like buy a package of sticky notes and like write all these awesome ideas and put them all over the place. That way, when Mercury goes direct, then you can like initiate those. Because personally, for me, I've often find that anything that happens in a Mercury retrograde, if I try to start something new, I have to do it twice, and it's so annoying. So just work on stuff you've already started.
Yeah. If you, because you probably have a bunch of projects, bunch of ideas already hanging somewhere in your notes or some kind of, just go through your emails, go through your drives and clouds and whatever, and see what's there. There's some, I bet there's some gems in there, right?
Yes.
What do you feel? Because Mercury is also about siblings and neighborhood and local environment. And how do you feel that this Mercury in Aries retrograde will influence people in that area? Do you think there's going to be, some changes there or something going on?
I feel like it really depends on like what house this retrograde's falling in for people, because that's going to just speak to the environment itself. Well, but like if you've got Mercury ruling your third house, for instance, like I feel like 100% there will be dynamics coming up with your local community, your neighbors. Maybe you live in an apartment complex or something, and there's something going on there. Maybe you're hearing your neighbor fighting at one point. You've got to go over and go to the rescue, be to the rescue, or so forth. So I really just think it depends on where it's falling in your natal chart. But yeah, I just think it depends on like the actual location. But yeah, of course those things can come up for people. More so I think with the because it's Aries Libra axis, I think it's about reconnecting with people, because Libra is the opposite here. And so, that person that you said you were going to call like 4 weeks ago and you didn't, maybe now's the time to do that.
That's very good. That's very good. Many times we tell people, oh, we have to get a coffee. We have to grab a coffee. And then now grab the coffee. So that's I like that.
Yeah.
Now, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that. That's good. What else did I put here? I don't like notes either. I put notes and then I like just, I go all over the place.
Because you're so mercurial. Because I feel like it wouldn't be normal for you if you didn't, but you have all the information. Like the Gemini is like stored. You have it.
I know.
Yeah.
I was gonna talk about patience. So is this opportunity to practice patience? Because I know I need to. So especially in Aries, Mercury retrograde in Aries, is this a great opportunity to do that? That was one of my notes.
Yes. Yes. I'm just laughing because it's taken me like 33 years to learn patience. Yeah, and that's it. Like this Mercury retrograde Aries for me could teach a lot of people that, you can say things when you want to say them, but they might get in you trouble at times. Like that impulsive expression is again a maturation development, right? So it's when you speak from here's the saying I always say to everybody: you never have to apologize for telling the truth.
Oh yeah.
Okay? Never have to apologize for telling the truth. It's your truth. Other people are going to take it as they will, but if you're confident in yourself, you're confident in your intentions of where that truth is coming from, and those intentions are pure and they mean well, and it's not here to hurt somebody, then your impulsive speech shouldn't be a problem. But if your impulsive speech in your lack of patience, therefore, is coming from a place where you're trying to cause harm, which that Chiron or that Eris can come in, then that Mercury in Aries is going to get you in trouble. Right? Because Mercury in Aries is a sharp tongue. It knows it's a weapon. It knows it's a weapon, and it can be.
So maybe just think about how you present the truth. Okay, just think about how to, that's that axis with Libra. How you still tell the truth, but try to be more in a Libra way.
Yeah.
So that's what to balance out, not whole Libra can be overly then not getting to the point, because they so soften the information that the point is not out there, so you have to still get the point out there, right? So
Exactly. Yeah, because the thing is with Libras, the Libra axis can be people pleasers and stuff and so forth, and want to just mimic, or not mimic, that's more of like a Gemini quality, but reflect back to something, to somebody, to people please or make them feel comfortable or something. But that's just not, to me, the Aries role. It's about more
no.
being
Yeah,
authentic.
yeah.
So, if you can, and this goes along with like the solar plexus, if you understand the intention behind your words, then, and your intention is coming from a pure place, then you'll feel more free to express yourself, because it won't have a misguided direction.
Okay, so let's say this, for example. So which signs, in your opinion, are going to be most affected in a good way, like easier? It's going to be easier for them to go through this Mercury in Aries retrograde, and which signs are going to have more challenges? Because I can deal with Aries energy. I can understand it. I don't mind if somebody's blunt, direct. Somebody say they're
Yeah.
rude. I like that. I like, tell me my face. I know what I'm dealing with. Some people don't like that. They're not appreciated. Let's say. So which ones? What do you think? Which signs and what?
It's so
Let's
funny
start
because I was
there,
gonna
right?
ask I was gonna ask you this question, but I'll
Okay,
answer
okay, I
first.
can, I can, I
You
can
start.
start.
Yeah, go. Yeah,
Okay,
go
so
ahead.
I definitely do feel that fire and air is always more compatible with this Aries energy. So everybody who is Gemini, Aquarium, even Libra, they won't. It's an opposite axis. They still understand the other side. And then of course the fire Sages and Leos and Aries will have less issues. And people who are actually born with a Mercury retrograde, I find that they have this is their time as well. So if you have Mercury retrograde, it's going to be easier for you for sure. Water, like for water is the hardest, I feel, because they're so sensitive and emotional, like Pisces, Scorpios, and Cancers. They take everything personally, and it's just hard for them to understand this dynamic. Earth
Yeah.
can resist more. Like they might not agree with it. But they have like a shield. I feel the Capricorns and Virgos and Taurus, they have like this, whatever, you know. So I think the water signs are always the most affected with this Aries energy.
Yeah. Yes. I would agree with you. I think the two signs that are going to benefit the most is, well, Aries is going through a lot. Like Aries
Yeah.
right now, full placements, planets. It's their time right now. Their focus with the North Node being there. So it's going to be beneficial. So for anybody with Aries, strong Aries in their chart, pay attention and listen to
Mm.
your instincts and your intuition, like you brought up earlier. Because if you can harness those, you're really going to capitalize on these transits and these eclipses coming up. I think Aquarius and Gemini will have a nice
Yeah.
sextile going on, so it'll be beneficial for them to any kind of changes, any kind of relationship dynamics, communication they want to use as an influence to go forward. I think that that's really beneficial. So I'm interested to see what happens with your chart, Jasmina, because
Yeah, we'll
you're
see how. I have some things in the behind the scenes happening. I'll see. I don't want to jinx it, but we'll see how it goes after this. April.
yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. And I think I agree with you, especially Cancer. I think Cancer is going to have like some triggering stuff coming up where their sense of emotional safety and security is going to be provoked, and that's okay. That's the natural square in the zodiac, and it's just encouraging a little bit of a shift, a little bit of change, and more emotional maturity for them to come in to deal with dynamics that come in like that. And I think Capricorn placements are going to have a little bit of an upheaval as well, because they're going to feel this separating going on. And there's this closing out dynamics going on from the Capricorn axis to the Aries axis, where, you know, new initiations of what they have had as support and structure for a while are kind of getting rocked. So they're going in a new direction there. So to me, the Cancer Capricorn will have the hardest time. And Gemini and Aquarius are going to have an easier time.
Good. Something easier, because this Saturn is killing me and Neptune is killing me, and I can't wait for all of them to go to Aries. To be honest, I can't wait for 2026. When Saturn and Neptune go to Aries, I'm going to be the happiest person, because Neptune is right on my descendant right now, opposing my ascendant, and it's hanging there like for 2 years. And then Saturn is squaring everything Gemini I have, and I have a lot, so it's been, you know. Anyway, so that you're completely right. So this is like a breath of fresh air for Geminis in this sense, from everything else that is happening. I like that. Awesome. What else was I gonna say? So many things. Do we have any other aspects that you would like to talk about? We talked about a Sun, Cazimi, Venus. Anything else you wanted to touch?
No, I guess the only thing I had was when Mercury stations direct, it'll be conjunct the North Node that day.
Yes.
Which is interesting. And the Sun is going to be in Taurus, plus that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus. And so, you know, when Mercury stations retrograde or direct, things tend to slow down and move forward. But the direct is really obviously potent for us to look at, especially because it's on the North Node that day.
Yeah.
So I was really looking at that because the Sun is in Taurus. That was like a solidifying type of energy. You know? What's going on then is going to have weight. It's going to have value to it, you know. Again, you're going to have time, I think, to move through things and kind of figure things out still. But because that Sun, Jupiter, Uranus there, all in Taurus, there was this like heaviness in the solidification. We have left the Aries realm, we're going to Earth territory, and now it's about manifesting, creating it in our physical world.
Yeah, so that's going to happen on the 25th of April. So guys, pay attention. Yeah, it's going to be, April is really, really dynamic from the beginning till the end, since the whole April. So you're coming back to home before this all comes, right?
I fly home on the lunar eclipse.
Okay. You're also.
I just totally booked that. Didn't even think. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Does this eclipse? I know you're Aries with Libra rising. Does this anything touches your chart? These eclipses?
The eclipses exactly conjunct my progressed moon in the 12th house, and I deal with the progressed moon a lot. Like, I look at it deeply, and it's conjunct my progressed moon, so it's a lot.
It's interesting.
It's good though. Yeah,
I have my progressed moon just moved into Aquarius, and I have Pluto hanging on it.
Oh yes, I love this for what you're doing right now at your social media. This is awesome.
Yeah, so so you know, when you know your chart, you know, it is what it's not all good. As I said, there's other stuff, but overall, awesome. I think we covered a lot. Do you want to add anything? Summarize just for our viewers, just in a few words, maybe a little summary or something.
Thank you, Jasmine. It's always awesome. It's so easy talking with you. Like, you're a great host. You're incredibly intelligent in astrology, well-versed, and you're very, very good at interviewing. It's just meant for you. So thank you, first off. And thank you for being patient as well with the time change. I'm so sorry. And it's a patience thing, right? Mercury and Aries. Yeah, I guess I'll just leave off with, you know, just be open and curious and remain open to listening to other people, and just know that other people are going through this transit while you're going through it too. And hopefully that helps with the patience level.
I love that for the ending. Amazing. Thank you so much for taking your time from your beautiful holiday to do this with me. I appreciate it. Likewise, talking to you is such an ease, and beautiful. Before we totally go off the screen, please tell people what is happening. What are you doing right now? I know you took a break from astrology and now you're back. So, what can we expect from you? There's some news. Please, where can people find you and what do you have coming up? Please just share that
Awesome. Thank you.
briefly.
Yeah, so I had to take a break for my health, and I did, and I feel really good coming back. So I'm going in April. I'm gonna launch a moon course that I've been working on for quite a long time. It's all about the moon, like all the ins and outs through the 12 archetypes, progressions, how to manifest, how it develops in love and relationships, whatever, what you name it. I'm gonna have a free course that is an intro to astrology. So if people are like brand spanking new, they can do a mini free course. And I'm also launching a Patreon group soon where I'm going to give a daily horoscope for the day. It's going to be about like a 10-minute audio. And so people can have a 7-day free trial, but and then sign up on Patreon and quit anytime if they don't like it. But yeah, so I'm going to give an overcast for all of the signs, a daily audio, and an in-depth horoscope so people can learn how to navigate. And my books for astrology consultations and spiritual coaching should be up soon. I haven't decided when I'll reopen. I'm currently only working with existing clients, but I'll be opening them up soon.
Awesome. That's great news. I'm so happy you're back. I'm so happy that you feel good. That's number one. And it was so nice to have you here. Happy Mercury retrograde, everybody. Take care of each other and yourselves. And until the next time, bye.
Yes. Bye. Bye, Jasmina. Thank you.
Bye bye.